Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to the Discourse for today, July 14th, 2023. I'm your host, Tristan. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a really great Friday. And, hope we can, I will preface the stream by saying that there's a reasonable chance this stream might be a bit short today. For two reasons. One, I'm having a bit of toothache pain that I've taken some Advil for, so it might get better, but it also might be a bit too distracting. And second, there's no questions. No one submitted any questions, so I'll see how long I can ad lib for. Probably should have planned something for in the future. I'll have to plan something for such a contingency, but yeah, that's kind of a thing that I'll have to figure out. All right. But my name is Tristan. I'm the host of the YouTube channel Step Back, which you can find at stepbackhistory.com, or you can, or I am the co-host of the podcast. It's Probably Not Aliens at probsnotaliens.com. I stream on Fridays at noon, which is right now. And you can help support my work by either signing up for Nebula at nebula.tv/stepback, by direct support via Patreon, where you can go to patreon.com/stepbackhistory and get early videos. You do on Nebula as well, but you can sign up on patreon.com/stepbackhistory. If you have super chats that you wish to contribute to things, that's also appreciated, but of course not necessary. But hey, that's a thing. My latest video is the U.S. president tier list, which I'm glad it's interesting how that video is doing, because the comment responses, the actual responses to the video have been extremely positive. The people who watched it liked it a lot, but as far as like the overall real numbers go, that video's having a tough time. It is one of my biggest flops in years, I think, and so yeah, is unfortunately not very well loved. But my next video is in progress right now. I'm working on the script as we speak. I am doing a video that is simply titled, Would Marx Hate AI? Would Karl Marx hate AI? And oh boy, is that going to be an interesting video. I have already, knowing how toxic and like hostile the response to AI stuff is, I have had to pre-purchase a ukulele in order to respond to my own video after it comes out. So we'll see where that goes. But holy, yeah, I am simultaneously excited because the video topic is very interesting and there's a lot of really cool things to talk about, and terrified because I know that the response to AI as a subject right now is so I hesitate to say toxic, because toxic is like sort of a psychology term, but it's not great. It's extremely, like, there's a lot of, it's very high emotion, very hostile, in a way that me trying to step in and be like, hey, let's have a more in-depth and nuanced conversation about this might not be welcome. So we'll see what happens. It could be a disaster. We'll find out. If you want to submit questions for this or future streams, I have a link I'm going to put in the chat where you can click on that and you can sign up for or submit questions that I hang on to for like a month at a time. But judging how I'm looking at a completely empty question list, if you submit one, I will almost guaranteed get to it today. Let's see. If this is your first time watching the stream, please make yourself known. This is a really awesome streaming community full of some really cool people that have great conversations, and you would behoove yourself to join in and participate in the conversation. And yeah. Hey, thank you for the $6.99 super chat, Meow Nan. You forgot to mention your President's video, Jimmy Carter, his history's greatest monster. That fills out my Simpsons quota for the day. Oh yeah, I definitely should have put that in there. When I was, because you saw how many Simpsons jokes are in that video, I definitely should have found a way to work it in. For sure. Alrighty. Well, that, right. Everybody, I have something that I should probably play now. Because I got a cool thing to show you. Let me see if I can get it up and running. I should have prepped this ahead of time, because I am a dum-dum. Okay. And you download U2. Oh, that is already the one I downloaded. Download this one. And then open up my media player. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is the content that you all crave, right? Okay, open file. It suddenly got so quiet. Okay. This is the ASMR section of the stream. Oh, yeah. Right? Here we go. Yeah, this is it. Guys, this is the theme song for W's time. It's time for us to talk about our wins. Folks, for those who don't know, on this stream, one of the things that we start off our conversation with is celebrating each other's wins. We talk about our victories from the last week, whether it be getting accepted to grad school or as simple as getting up and having a good breakfast this morning. That is how we start this show. So, give me your wins, everybody. I desire all of your victories. I'll start with my own. I think I'm gonna have to turn down the audio a little bit, but yeah. I actually did have a good breakfast this morning because to celebrate my kid not getting sick for a full week, once a month, my wife and I celebrate on Friday by going out for breakfast. So I went out for breakfast, had a very good breakfast. It was solid. I am working on this AI script that I am actually fairly proud of. I'm as terrified as I am proud of it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there's a party this weekend. I got a lot. There's a good selection of things. Chat. Oh, here we go. Louise, my man, who I recently had a conversation with this week. Your win. It's 1:10 on a Friday and you're still alive. That is a victory, especially in academia. Holy crap. Congratulations on getting through another week in university, in academic life. All right. Nice. Excellent. Good stuff. We got any other wins? Come on, give me some wins, everybody. Alrighty. Well, maybe everyone's... Seems that a lot of the regulars are not here today. That's a little sad. That would explain the quietness in this place. Oh boy. Okay. Hey, Snorlax the Destroyer is finally getting help for their stress and anxiety. Sweet. Good stuff. I enjoy people taking care of their mental health and getting the treatment they need. And Orange Moon, is finally taking care of their ant problem. That is great. We do not want any moon ants to be to be a problem. That is for sure. So that's good. Med and Math finally bought and set up a printer for their home. They needed one for like 2 years and kept putting it off. Good stuff. That is, what's it called? Printers are the bane of all of our existence because we like don't need one for like most of the time. And then when we do need one, it's a huge pain in the ass for when we actually do need it. Like I've got this printer sitting right here that has been out of ink for years because I need to actually like buy what's always very overpriced ink, right? And because like, you know, then you need to print off like one thing every like, you know, few months. We need a printer solution that is like, well, I mean, the printer solution is now just to go to Staples or whatever. But I imagine that's not a solution that everybody can use. I wish there was like a small portable printer that did not require like so much ink and you could just pull out like every so often to actually like use for random things. A sort of bittersweet win for me. A 30-something American took my car in to get repaired for the first time ever, finally adulting even if it's expensive. Oof. Best of luck. They are, that is, as somebody who I am a 30-something Canadian who has yet to take a car in to get repaired because I've yet to own a car. I've never owned one. In fact, I'm not going to show you guys, but I just actually got like my learner's permit license like earlier this week. I should say like I got it like a few weeks ago, but like they gave me like a temporary paper license. And now I'm getting like the real license, like the plastic one that I can use as ID. And that showed up this week. And now I gotta go and get like my full license, and then I'm getting a car in the new year. I have a friend who's the reason that I'm like moved forward on my license is because I have first of all, having a kid without a car in this city is annoying as hell. But then I have a friend who has a car, and he's moving to Australia in like about like in December sometime, and he said that he would that he wanted me to have his car, so I get to have a car. That's all. That is all. CUPS is great. What about cups? CUPS, Unix printing system, modular printing system for Unix, like allows a computer to act as a print server. Print jobs, client computers, process them, and send them to the appropriate printer. Okay, I don't know. Get a laser printer. They're expensive at the start, but the toner doesn't dry out. That may be a good call. Plus, it makes your print jobs come out all nice and warm and comfy. The fact that you made it to your 30s without needing to take a car in is the real win here. That is pretty lucky, yeah. Things haven't been eventful enough for me to say anything is a win because the last time you live streamed, though, things have held steady. I mean, in some ways, no news is good news, yeah. What's it called? Some other good news. Some other some good wins. The new Strange New Worlds was really good. It was another like Vulcan sitcom episode, which I loved. And then also, as of today, like What We Do in the Shadows is back, which is another really great show that I'm happy to see more stuff. Which is interesting. You have a good dentist appointment. You know what? Last week, I had a dentist appointment where I don't think I was ever more grateful to get a filling in my life. I was in so much pain last week from my tooth that it was actually debilitating. And I had to get like an emergency filling done. And while like my jaw still hurts from that whole thing, it's like way better than it was. So that's nice. Your last video is the reason I'm here, TBH. Thanks to algorithm. Well, that's great. I'm glad that somebody watched my most recent video, because not a whole lot of people did. So I'm glad that somebody found my presidential tier list. Turns out that maybe tier lists aren't the key to success that they used to be, and that nobody really wants a presidential tier list. And that's the trick. Ugh. Oh boy. All right. Apparently the new insurance at my work is going to cover my out-of-pocket max, so I should be able to save about $3,500. That is awesome. Can buy a lot of Pokemon cards with $3,500. I don't know. Is that $3,500 total? $3,500 a year? $3,500 a month? Man, if that was a month, that's more than I make a month. And $3,500 a month for health insurance sounds insane, but I don't know. Everything about American healthcare sounds insane. All right. Hey, I'm glad that people like. See, that's the weird thing about the president's video that is really surprising me, is that all the comments on it are very positive, and it has like the highest thumbs up percentage of like my videos in a very long time, but it's getting like no views. It's really strange. It probably is. That means like for like, you know, for a certain segment of my audience, it's very popular. But like for my general audience, they don't care. Which makes me think that probably maybe at like a longer period of time, it might find its audience and take off. But you know, it is what it is. I am pretty excited though for my next video. Let me see if I can show you guys. I got the thumbnail for my next video, and it is so good. And it's going to piss off so many people. It's going to get a lot of engagement. Whether or not that engagement is going to result in me getting crucified by like, you know, by the Twitterati or whatever, or if it's going to end up with people taking it really well. If I were to, you know, toot my horn a little bit, I think that when it comes to controversial issues, I can be very good at, I can be very good at being very even-handed on some very tough subjects, and I feel like the AI one will be good to go, and hopefully, well, and so like also I'm going to try some other stuff. Like I think that despite the fact that my Ancient Apocalypse video did really well, being 2 hours long, the next like 2 or 3 hour plus long videos did terribly. So I think I'm going to probably not make videos that long anymore. And I'm probably going to stick to about half an hour long. So that's a good thing. There was a mid-cycle change of the insurance company, so it was a question about whether the out-of-pocket max had gotten on the old insurance would disappear and we'd have to pay from zero. I don't know. I only vaguely know what that means because I don't have to deal with health insurance here. We have to deal with dental insurance, but it seems like it's a bit different. I learned FDR died in office because of your video. I thought it was weird that he was the only president to not be F tier, but you didn't explicitly say died in office. Then I looked it up. Yeah, he died in his 4th term, like shortly after being elected for his 4th ass term. It's wild. I'm not even thinking about my next video yet. I had to rush out a video last Saturday morning because our government fell. Ooh, that's wild. Yeah, I've got this AI video, and then I don't know exact. Oh, after that, because that comes out in August. Then in September is Step Back's birthday. And Step Back's birthday is, as people know from the Step Back tradition. I thought the NDP got us basic dental. They tried. I don't know if they covered it. I mean, my like filling last week was like $700 paid off by my wife having supplemental insurance. So I just got lucky on that front. But yeah, this AI video is interesting. Hopefully it will do well. And then my next video for September 1st is going to be about it's going to be for Step Back's birthday, and I decided to remake my favorite video that people slept on, which was my video about the Girl Guides and the big role that the Girl Guides have played in history. And at least that's my hope. I was thinking of making a Colfax Massacre remake, but I think that video, the Girl Guides video is going to be very good. Today I went on the Behind the Bastards subreddit and recommended they do an episode on Sam Harris. The response I discovered there were apparently still libs who defended him. Oh, geez. I can't imagine, like, how big could the crossover audience be between Behind the Bastards and Sam Harris? I think there's actually there's a video, or not a video, an episode of It's Probably Not Aliens that where I shit talked Sam Harris. I don't know if that episode's out yet though. Oh yeah, that's another exciting thing is I recorded an episode of It's Probably Not Aliens last night where I interviewed Angela Collier, who's a physicist YouTuber that I really, really like, and she was really awesome. And it was very, very exciting. Oh, yeah, so I should show you guys my new thumbnail. Let me see if I can put this over here. Expand this out. All right. Who's Sam Harris? Sam Harris is one of the OG, like, new atheists who has written a lot. I think I said in my podcast episode, he might be one of the most Islamophobic people on earth. He has advocated for. He's basically said that because Muslims, all of them, no exceptions, no nuance whatsoever, because all of them have apocalyptic doomsday like ideation, it would be perfectly fine for us to use nuclear weapons on Middle Eastern and Muslim majority countries. And on top of that, because there is no getting around them because they're all just apocalyptic violent monsters, he is fine. He actually said he's said that it's okay to torture Muslims. And so it's like some of the most horrific shit I've ever seen. And yeah, Sam Harris fucking sucks is the answer. All right, I gotta show you this thumbnail. All right. So listen to this. Imagine you're on YouTube looking for a new video to watch, and you come across on your homepage a video called "Would Karl Marx Hate AI?" And this is the thumbnail. Like, come on. That is going to be provocative, is it not? Just imagine how that's going to come down. Oh. One of my spiciest thumbnails yet. I'm excited to see what comes out of it. And it went through a lot of iteration. Like, I'll show you how much it changed, because it changed like a lot. Let's take a look. Is the thumbnail AI generated? It isn't. No, I paid my wonderful thumbnail creator, Hot Cider, to make it. Hot Cider is a YouTube. He's a YouTuber, but what he should be famous for is that he secretly makes like some of the best thumbnails on YouTube. He makes Jake Geller's thumbnails. He maintains like a playlist of all of his thumbnails, but he's an amazing thumbnail designer. And I come to him with my video idea, and we hash out different video or different thumbnails all the time. And I'll show you the first one, because the first one was also kind of neat. Bad Brain is coming up again. Gonna head out. Have a good week, Pim. Take care. Take care of yourself. Let's see. I already know my thoughts seeing that. Oh hell yeah, new step back video. Now there you go. That's the spirit. Second, the laser printer suggestion. I've had color laser printers at home for 16 years with very few issues. Ooh, maybe. First, I think I should probably pay off my line of credit. Or first I should probably start making it go down instead of up. And then by making more people sign up for Nebula. And then I can talk about getting, when my line of credit is paid off, then I can talk about, like, you know, investing in new technology. I got mortgage to pay and baby to feed and stuff. Okay, but look at this thumbnail. So this is the first thumbnail we had, which is boss. But what I learned from this is that a lot of people don't recognize what Karl Marx looks like. So when I showed this to people who are not like hardcore leftists, they were like, who is this? What is this about? Why should I care? And so it evolved into the one that you saw earlier. But I thought it was fun. And I have half a mind to, at some point in the video, animate this face like what's it called? There's this British show called Captain Pogwash, I think this is called. And they kind of animate the mouth in like a sort of funny way that I might do with this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a lot of work. People don't recognize Grandpa Carl. No, they don't. So by the same artist, yeah, it is still the hottest of ciders. Who makes really cool thumbnails. Reminds me of the thumbnail for Geller's Returnal video. Yeah, it should, because Hot Cider made that one too. Because how I found Hot Cider was through Jacob Geller. Because Hot Cider makes Jacob Geller's thumbnails too. So another cool W this week is that I had never talked to Jake Geller before. And I, in the pursuit of doing this AI video, I actually had a brief conversation with him. and it was really cool to see. It was really cool to get his insight on what I was talking about. It was really awesome. Yeah. So how are we on wins? I'm still playing the wins music. So I got that awesome thumbnail this week. That's another win for me. Do we have any wins before we close down the wins, before I stop playing the wins music? Does anyone have any more wins they wish to celebrate with the class? Daddy Robomarks, yeah. I do love that thumbnail, but I also do get that, like, if I wasn't a person who immediately recognized Karl Marx and I saw that picture, I would not know what it was. And I feel like the robots shaking hands is a way better, like, with like the sickle and hammer, which to me is like a way more like iconic image of, like, you know, Marxism, communism, that kind of thing. That I think that image to, like, the normies will be way more, like, easy to digest than like Cyber Marx, even though Cyber Marx is hella cool. Just remember that my vibrator can also be used as a massage utensil, and now my on which I fell a few weeks ago doesn't hurt as much anymore. That is awesome. Reminds me that there was this post from, like, ages ago about somebody who used their get a little blue here for a second, but it was a woman who used her vibrator when she had, like, she was extremely stuffed up or something. Like, she had like a cold or something, and the vibrations basically like opened up her sinuses, and she, like, was, like, breathing better than she had in a long time because she just like used it to, like, clear out the sinuses. Which I'm like, oh man. Vibrators are a tool of many uses, it seems. Elliot got hella paid as a win. Hell yeah. Get paid. So Thassadar, you get an A+ for innovative of creative use of tools. You know, it's another thing that I can talk about, and I'm curious what people think about this one. Just gonna sit on the we have a few questions coming in, but I want to sit on them for a little bit longer, just so we can get a little bit more, give people more time. All right. If that is all the wins for this week, I think we are happy to stop the music and get us back on our regular. Apparently, I'm just like, my thing is synthwave. Step Back's official theme song is synthwave music. So this is my, we'll go back to my regular synthwave music now. But yeah, I want to show you guys another thing that I thought was really neat. So the discussion, there's a couple discussions that I was involved with when talking about like, I had like a whole conversation with my partner about Step Back, and like this whole thing about like, don't be like if you are pigeonholed into a handful of subjects, you are going to be making stuff for one specific audience that is always going to be getting smaller. And that that if you don't feel passionate about something, people are going to notice if you run out of gas on a subject, and that I should feel free to experiment and do new subjects and get into stuff. And even if, you know, my presidential tier list doesn't get any views, it doesn't mean that I should back off of trying to make more fun shitposty type videos and actually embrace the fun and do new things, because there will be a hit to views at first, but you can kind of get into more audience stuff. And I kind of like was then like, it kind of get into a deeper question that I thought was really interesting about like, Step Back is in a weird place. I don't exactly know, like, I'll give you guys a little bit of like some like 100% real talk about Step Back as a channel. It has been, compared to like my colleagues who started around the same time, a very slow growing channel. Most other people get like some video that does like really, really well and pushes them into the stratosphere, and like they get like they're in a whole new world. Step Back has had very little of that, and what successes it has had have been very small in retrospect, or in comparison. And so Step Back's got this extremely steady growth, which is very interesting. The only time that I've had some like really explosive growth has been in like the last couple months. Earlier this year, I guess you should say, because the last two videos, the China video and the presidential tier list video, have done very poorly and have basically resulted in the channel really slowing down in the last like couple months. But that's fine, because experimenting with new things is good. And so then I was just like, I think that like so I'm having this conversation over dinner with my partner, and we're like talking about like, hey, what do people even come to this channel to watch? Because the tier list video was very much me giving a little bit more of like myself over, you know, like being more of a personality and being more silly. And it obviously didn't work. It had made me think like, oh, like maybe Step Back is not really a channel that people come to watch. Like I always like, cause like, you know, the YouTuber that I spend the most time talking to is the two YouTubers that I spend the most time like conversing with about strategy and stuff like that are Scott and Matt, right? So Scott, aka NerdSync, Matt, aka Thought Slime. Those are the two like YouTubers that I talk to the most about like the craft of making YouTube videos. And both of them have very personality driven content, right? Like Matt's, the fact that like there's a bunch of people in the chat who are probably going to step up to be like, actually it's Mildred, and I can tell you, actually I know him in real life and he doesn't give a shit which name you use. It speaks to that, right? Like speaks to like that he puts much more of his himself into his content, and Scott is, you know, Scott very much bears himself in his videos in like ways that, you know, you feel very attached to him. And I realized that like, even though I'm trying to do that, or I've at least like experimented, because I'm like a very closed off person, as people probably have noticed by now, that I don't really like talking about my personal life a whole lot. That the people who come to watch Step Back don't really come for that kind of stuff. Like, I think that in that kind of sense, Step Back might be closer to like a channel like maybe Real Life Lore than it is to like a Thought Slime, you know? Like if you were to have a spectrum of where you have Real Life Lore on one side and Thought Slime on another, and you put Step Back in there, it'd be closer to Real Life Lore, which I think is interesting. Which made me think about like what kind of things I'm going for. Cause I'm also going through this like big channel rebranding and like trying to actually figure out what it is that people come to my channel to get, like what value they come for, like what need is being filled by coming and watching my stuff. Hopefully this isn't boring. This is just me being honest with like people who are here and watching and want to know about the kind of stuff that I have to think about. And so that was a very interesting conversation. Like, how much of myself do I need to put in my content? Because either you need to build that relationship with your audience, or you need to back away from that. And it's interesting because I have had people who claim that I put too much of my personality in, and people who say that I don't put enough in. And I don't have an answer. Because there's, you know, I have 129, almost 130,000 subscribers, and obviously people all have different desires for what they want out of my channel. So I have to look at it from like numbers perspectives and stuff, right? And so I go to my YouTube channel's analytics, which has a lot of really useful information for figuring out who your audience is. And I looked at my like this list of like channels that people who watch your stuff also watch, and videos that people came to your videos from. And it's wild. I have absolutely, I came away less sure about what the average Step Back viewer comes to Step Back to watch after having gone through it. And maybe be interesting. Maybe I need to like actually like start like looking at this. And so maybe I'll just show you guys. If this is a thing you guys find boring, just tell me and I'll stop talking about this. But I thought it might be an interesting look behind the hood into the kind of stuff that I'm obsessing over at the moment. So let's take a look. And let me see what you guys, if you guys notice a pattern at all. So where is the browser? Here we go. Okay, let's dismiss that. Okay, so if you look at this, right? These are the just channels that my audience watches in the last 4 weeks. So look what we got here. We've got some more news. Cody, I feel like people. I feel like you could appreciate that. Like Cody Johnston, sure, yeah. You don't get a lot of like Cody's personality in his videos. It's very much like the news information. Same with JT, right? Like Second Thought is very much the same. You come for the information, not because you're so. I mean, I guess with some more news, you've got like their ongoing bits. You've got Warmbo and all that kind of stuff. So there is that. I don't even know who these two are. I've heard of Hakeem before, but I have never seen a Hakeem video. Same with the Cavernacle. I don't know who that is. I don't know what. I couldn't name you a Cavernacle video. Wisecrack. I know some people who know Wisecrack and who've worked for Wisecrack, and this makes sense. Wisecrack is just a gigantic YouTube channel that has 3 million subscribers and talks about topics in the humanities and philosophy and stuff like that. So I can kind of see that like a generally large amount of Step Back viewers probably also watch Wisecrack. That makes sense. Cavernacle is pretty good. You should check him out. Maybe. I've heard that Cavernacle is like more of like a drama channel, and I'm honestly a little bit tired of making videos like just investigating and shitting on like the same handful of right-wing grifters over and over again. That kind of content's getting old for me, but maybe that's changed over the time since I last looked. Who knows? Hakeem is a Marxist YouTuber. I think Ba'athist. Interesting. All right. But there's 3 pages of this, so take a look. So second page, we got Sean. Cool. Everyone loves Sean. Another YouTuber who's odd, who's not exactly super personality driven. It's about the content, not the personality behind it. Let's pretend this guy doesn't exist. Jesse Gender, very personality driven. I feel like you have to be very personality driven to put out like multiple multi-hour videos a month and get those all watched. So Jesse's a force of personality in her own right. Big Joel. Sure. This is the only channel this is weird because like Big Joel is like a media critic, right? He makes movies about movies usually, but I can see it. Big Joel is a solid pick. And then we've got Kaylin Conrad, who looks like is a kind of small YouTuber that I have never heard of before. This is the first time I've seen this name. Looks like it's a lot of LGBT stuff. Cool. All right. Makes sense. In the same universe. Big Joel's also Canadian. Interesting. I didn't know that. And then here's the one that I think is really interesting. So Rebecca Watson. Now, I have been a fan of Rebecca Watson for like almost 20 years at this point. Rebecca Watson is an OG skeptic YouTuber who debunks like pseudoscience and stuff like that. And she's really good. And I think her channel's having a bit of a moment right now. I think she's had some videos go viral and is like really growing her channel because she was not at 126K not too long ago. Little Joel is just Big Joel shit posting stuff. Let's not talk about We're in Hell at the moment. That's a complicated situation. And the Surf Times, which is the Surf's news channel. And believe it or not, which I looked up a little bit earlier, was like a channel about like debunking sort of Christianity stuff, like a religion thing. Fascinating. So looking at this, we've got news, like leftist topics, drama, like leftist theory, like I guess Marxist theory, philosophy and literature and stuff, current events, drama, Star Trek, and extremely long videos about different topics, usually in LGBT topics, movies and media criticism, LGBT stuff as well, skepticism, shit posting, news, and religion. Like there's no singular thing that I can like point to and be like, people are interested in this now, aren't they? It's very curious. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Now, here is the next bit, which is videos that people have come to Step Back videos from, which is interesting. Or videos that Step Back viewers have been watching, which is like, you know, obviously Kelly J and the Neo-Nazis. Sean has been on this like rip about TERFs lately. So that's a big video about Kelly J, who I think is also known as Posey Parker, and like TERF shit in the UK. Zoe B, really, this is actually a really great video. I watched this, Why We Secretly Want the World to End. Really great video. Super solid. Renegade Cut and Step Back are definitely cut from the same cloth. And Renegade Cut, despite the fact that Renegade Cut didn't show up here, a lot of Renegade Cut crossover. Leon and I are tight, so that's cool. What's up with We're in Hell? It's a long story and one that I don't exactly have all the information on, so you might have to deal with. You have to like look it up. Look it up. FD Signifier doing a weird shitposting video, I guess. Noah Sampson, who also reads into weird drama stuff. Emma Thorne. I've never heard of this one, honestly. Need to talk about TYT. Yeah, all the bullshit with TYT, that makes sense. Another video about TYT, that makes sense. Weight obsession and ruining everyone's health. Some more news. Yeah, that kind of fits in the whole thing. Let's talk about Vosh. Deconstructing the fundamentals, Satan. Okay. TYT. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Address another TYT thing. And don't bring back Peach Mom, which is just another little Joel shitpost. Okay, so... So I hope that like helps in any capacity. I don't know if it does, but I'm trying to figure out through all this data, like what are people watching? What is like, if somebody were to encapsulate Step Back's value add, where like, if Step Back has this in a video, they go and watch it. And if Step Back doesn't have it in a video, then they don't watch it. And I know that you guys are trying to help by saying a bunch of cool stuff, and I agree. I appreciate it. But like I'm thinking about it in like a numbers sense. And this is the hard part about being a YouTuber, because I'm trying to figure out what kind of stuff I want to do, and I also want to be creatively fulfilled and do my own stuff as well. So I have this whole idea of getting into, of doing this sort of vibe where I act kind of like a substitute teacher, or like a history teacher, like actually like get like a desk and like wear like some stuff that makes me look like a history teacher and do some stuff. Social history topics from what is TYT? TYT is a media organization that used to be called the Young Turks, and they used to be like the most preeminent progressive like media thing on YouTube, and they rose from being like a YouTube channel to being like a legit like almost like considered like a semi-legit actual news network. The problem is that they've kind of turned lately into weird reactionary bullshit, and like anti-homeless shit, and have recently gotten on the TERF bandwagon, and it's caused like one of their reporters recently left because she tried to correct their record on transphobic shit that they were saying, and they kind of didn't listen. And just earlier today, a whole bunch of their moderators all resigned at the same time. So interesting stuff. All right. So we've got a couple questions now, so we can probably delve into that. But yeah, that was just me sort of thinking out loud about what is this thing that I do? What should I be doing with my YouTube channel, honestly? Is there an answer? No. The answer is whatever I'm passionate about, and, you know, ride out all the things. And that more of what I should be worried about when it comes to like how can I, like, you know, position things to be better is about format. Like, I think that my videos need to be scripted again. That makes sense. They're kind of getting meandery. They need to be shorter, like about half an hour is what I'm going to shoot for now. And I got to get on that Nebula First thing. That's a different story, though. This is not peak content for the stream, that's for sure. But I will ask if you ever looked at how Quentin reviews does videos. He recently made a video on his side channel about the process. I haven't seen that, but that's interesting. Because Quentin Reviews makes like those like 8-hour YouTube videos. And I'm like, holy crap, buddy. What I should do is once I get that car, I should do, because like, what's it called? I have that sort of right-wing character that I do, the Canadian conservative with the like hat and the yellow vest and everything like that. I should do that, and as a bit do like a car vlog or something in a video. That feels like it'd be really fun. Cause you know, right-wing guy doing car vlog is a meme, right? So getting into that. It's more about selecting topics than making the videos. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We'll see where things go. I have ideas. All right. Let's talk about some other stuff that's fun, like how SAG. See your follow-up to the Sam Harris thing. No, I did not. Let me scroll up to try and find that. Yeah, I don't see any post by you following up on the Sam Harris thing. Unless it's a question you submitted. But all right, with SAG, so this is another thing that happened, is that yesterday the Screen Actors Guild announced that they're going on strike, which is like the first time that SAG has gone on strike at the same time as the Writers Guild since like 1960. And yeah, in this like weird time where like executives are really screwing over their actors and their writers with like streaming residuals and like threatening to use AI to try and replace writing jobs and all sorts of stuff. It's like a wild set of circumstances, and I don't know if there's a great like answer to all of the weirdness that's going to come out of that. So I love it. We all love a good strike. There's so many so many good news stories coming out of Hollywood, which is such a weird thing to say. Like SAG going on strike, the Writers Guild of America going on strike, and furthermore, the last 3 cultural necromancy bullshit movies all flopped. Like that new that attempt to make yet another Indiana Jones apparently failed. The Flash movie ate shit when it came out, and like other like corporate manufactured output of the Marvel Cinematic Universe also has not been doing well. The Secret Wars show, and like the last couple Marvel movies have like been kind of duds, and I'm like, finally something seems like out of all of this, something is going to have to change in Hollywood, which is great because Hollywood is right now so like creatively bankrupt. It's just such like a hollow, like it's just like this hollow, constant recreation of the exact same like 2 or 3 franchises over and over and over again. And I'm glad that they're failing miserably, and I hope that it goes through. Flash is going to be the biggest flop in Warner Brothers history. Awesome. People liked my Emma Goldman video. That's awesome, Master Matt. I appreciate that. I think some of your best videos came from Tristan Won't Shut Up. I recognize the year 2020 was a flashpoint for everyone online. They're about 20 or 30 minutes long. Yeah, the main thing about Tristan Won't Shut Up is that I realized that I didn't really need to be making a second channel for that kind of stuff, that I could just put it on Step Back. Because to an extent, I think that maybe this could be wrong, but Step Back has evolved to the point where if I made a video that wasn't strictly about history anymore, it wouldn't necessarily be a surprise or a disappointment. Like I made that video, like a couple of videos that I made in 2021 started as Tristan Won't Shut Up videos that I just then turned into Step Back videos, specifically my video on cryptocurrency and my video on what was the other one? My video on how capitalism makes you lonely. And yes, and my video about becoming a prepper. All of those began as Tristan Won't Shut Up videos. And I think people like those videos. And if I made something like my next video about like Karl Marx and AI doesn't have a ton of history in it. Most of it is political economy and theory and really just like a think piece in a lot of ways. But I don't think that it would be a super big surprise if I made something like that, right? Plus, it also probably feeds into my Tristan Won't Shut Up video about the sort of automated, like logistics, like what's it called? The People's Republic of Walmart type videos that I was making back on Tristan Won't Shut Up that people really liked. You didn't know you had an Emma Goldman video? Oh yeah. I made it in 2020, I think. Yeah, I was very proud of that one. I like that one a lot. People seem to like it. But I do love the idea that when it comes to the movies thing, I do love that. I do love that the Flash ate shit, and I do love that all of these like constant like people are obvious. The post, I would say post COVID, but like post like lockdowns and stuff like that. It's obvious that the nature of movies has changed, and there's not like they tried to like, let's just go back to doing movies the exact same way they were, where you have to go to the movie theater and chuck out like $50 and watch yet another adaptation of a comic book that came out in the 1970s. Let's do it. And people don't seem to want to do that anymore. They're not doing as well. And like now all of the writers are on strike. So like streaming is like this. If the writers and the actors get what they want, the streaming residual structure is going to have to change. There's a lot that could happen. And what comes out the other end of that is very interesting. And I'm curious about what it will result in, honestly. Yeah, the Oppenheimer cast literally walked off the red carpet in solidarity with the strike. Yeah. I think the Barbie premiere had to like move up the Barbie premiere, which is the weirdest thing I've had to say. The Barbie premiere had to be moved up by several hours because they wanted to do the red carpet for Barbie before the strike was announced. So they like at the last minute had to move up its the time by like 3 hours or something like that because it was in the UK. So they had to like quickly change everything so that they could all do their movie premiere stuff before they come out, because now like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling can't stump for the video. They can't stump for the movie. They can't like advertise for it. They can't do it. They like, because of the strike there, they don't do any promotion or anything like that. So, yeah, it would be very funny that if this is like the end of Hollywood as we know it, that the last hurrah of Hollywood is freaking Barbenheimer. Be interesting to see if like Barbenheimer ends up being like the last two big Hollywood movies. What a sign, huh? Sam floated preemptively nuking the whole Middle East because Muslims are just that bad. That's accurate. I'm worried his fans will try and call me, well, actually. I'm sure he tried to couch it in a lot more diplomatic things, but it's not at its core wrong, that's for sure. That I haven't read like Sam Harris's work in a long time, so... Let's hope Chile looks into cyber socialism again. Yeah. Oh, that the CyberSyn video. That was also the CyberSyn video started as a Tristan Won't Shut Up video as well. And I plan, like, it's interesting where like I talked about all of this cyber socialism stuff, and then now this year when generative AI hits the market, the reaction has been so hot and heavy. I'm very it's very spicy, and I'm like genuinely worried that I'm going to like burn some actual relationships that I'm in. Like I'm going to lose friends over my next video because the discourse around AI right now is so toxic that I feel like I'm going to get burned for just insufficiently talking about it being like the most evil thing that ever happened. And I'm genuinely worried about what's going to come out the other end of it. Because people have really gotten themselves worked up into a frenzy about it. So we'll see what comes out of that. Alrighty. Oh, I got an idea. Just, what's it called? I'm just writing something in right now. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's see what the next question is. My two favorite podcasts are Probs Not Aliens and Well There's Your Problem. Since Mia Mulder makes you both tangentially related, will there be a crossover episode? Follow-up question, what disaster would you talk about? So, all right. Mia Mulder, I guess, is the connective tissue between It's Probably Not Aliens and Well There's Your Problem. I definitely think that we need to get Mia on It's Probably Not Aliens sometime. The only thing that trips that one up is because Mia is 6 hours ahead of us on the time zone thing. So there's like, and we would record at like we typically record our podcast at like 11 a.m. Eastern or noon Eastern, which would be like 6 p.m. her time, which would be like, or it's at night, which is like the middle of the night for her. So we would have to coordinate something so that she could come on, especially to talk about Leech Fest. We want to get some more attention to Leech Fest, I think. Well, There's Your Problem. I would love to go on Well There's Your Problem. That's a podcast that I think is really cool. I have, as far as my connection to that podcast goes, I have talked to Justin on like a couple of occasions. that's about the extent though. Like, Alice doesn't know who I am. And Justin only kind of knows who I am. And there's a third host whose name is escaping me, but yeah, it would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to do that. If I were to choose a disaster, see, here's the thing about disasters that that trip me up, is that the best one for me to be on has already been done, which is 9/11, and they did the 9/11 episode, and so I don't really think that like that one I couldn't do. So I'd have to go with another one that I either just liked or was obsessed with when I was younger. And the one that comes to mind for me, if they haven't done it already, is the Columbia disaster, because I was like in grade 9 when the Columbia disaster happened, and I was obsessed with it for like a year afterwards. I wrote a short story about the Columbia disaster, or about the shuttle program, I guess, in general. Doing individual subjects on 9/11 each year, I would love to come on for that, or to do a Columbia one. The Columbia would be a very interesting one to me. Good old that. But yeah, there definitely should be more of those collabs happening. I should maybe I should try to get one of them on It's Probably Not Aliens. That's a very good combination of shows, though. I'm glad that you seem to have very good taste in podcasts. That's what I will say, Connor. I'll have to start by getting Mia on the show. It's a crime that we are like, we recorded episode 90 of It's Probably Not Aliens last night, and we haven't had Mia on yet. It's wild. What is the political implication of the Columbia disaster? I don't know if there was one, except for the fact that the Columbia disaster showed that, like, the main thing that the Columbia disaster showed is that the shuttle program was showing its age. But the thing is that because like, if you want to like get like the larger implications of the shuttle program, is that the shuttle program was very much like, hey, we're cutting, because now that we've used the moon program to develop ICBMs, we can basically just stop investing in space now. And so in the 1970s, they really cut back on putting money into space, and NASA had to put their effort into doing science with a like much reduced budget. And one of the things they tried to do was develop a ship that they could use that would be more reusable, so it wouldn't be as expensive. And that was the beginning of the STS program, which developed the space shuttle. And they developed the space shuttle, and the space shuttle was very much a sign that like, oh, NASA is like it's because the shuttle only goes into low Earth orbit. They're not going to Mars. It's not going to Mars. It's not going to the moon. It was definitely like it was a vehicle that showed that there was a new priority in space, which was greatly diminished from what it had been before. So there's that. Then the shuttle program got extended past its original expiry date. Like, they made the shuttles and they said that the shuttles will last this long. I think it was like 20 years or something like that. And then it would be retired. It would be done. They would build something else to replace it. But then they extended it by another 10 years because, it costs a lot of money and a lot of things to design, build, and test a whole new set of space vehicles. And the Columbia disaster sort of happened in the context of that. And it was a sign that, like, the shuttle program is obviously showing its age. Furthermore, and this is another thing that would be interesting for you guys to talk about, or that interesting for you guys to think about, which is that, because I know a lot of you are pretty young, so you might not have that many like memories of 9/11, but the Columbia disaster happened like 5 months after 9/11. I'm pretty sure that's right. Like 2000, it's like February of 2002 or something like that it happened. want to say. Let me get this right. Let me get... might have been 2003. It was 2003, so it was like only like it was a little bit over a year after 9/11. That makes much more sense. And so like that was a period in which like the war on terror was at its peak. So for like a little bit, people thought it might have been terrorism. It was when like because of 9/11, everybody was watching CNN all the time. Because like, you know, like there's like a real sense of like the war on terror was like a really like strange thing. And yeah, the Columbia was just like, everybody was watching it despite the fact that it was just like yeah. One of his recent videos, Cody claimed manned space exploration would probably be further along today if it canceled the shuttle program after the Challenger disaster. Do you buy that? Yeah. Yeah, the shuttle program was very much like NASA having its scope scaled back quite a bit. And if they had been like, the only reason why we have the Artemis program today is because Obama explicitly implemented a large change in focus. Like Obama put in a strategic change for NASA and said that they should focus again on manned spaceflight and specifically on trying to put people on the moon and put people onto Mars and get the Mars program up and running. And basically was like, you know, you have 20 years to get to Mars, like 2035 or something like that is the time they're supposed to get to Mars. And that has been like, that was the impetus for starting the Artemis program and the Ares 5 rocket and all that kind of stuff that we're kind of getting into now. So yeah. Guess you could talk about Flight 93 or the time Canada nearly shot down a Korean airline on 9/11. I'm sure that we could find something really cool if I got to be on. Well, there's your problem. I'll figure it out. 2035. 2035 was the original timeline, but it has changed drastically because, like the idea now is that the U.S. wants. So here's the thing about the Mars mission, right? To get to Mars, to build the ship that you would need to build to go to Mars, we're basically going to need to have a settlement on the moon. So the 2020s really is going to be the race to get back to the moon and build something on it. Right now, there are two programs working on it. One is the Artemis mission, and the other is the Chang'e mission, which is being put forward by China. Chang'e plans to get a person on the moon by 2030, and and the U.S. is originally they were planning on getting somebody to land on the moon next year. They have the new mission that's intended to put a person on the moon. They're backed up a little bit now because they made an unfortunate mistake, which was that their lunar lander, the design of their lunar lander was contracted out to SpaceX, and SpaceX fucking sucks. So of course SpaceX is like way behind on building a proper lunar lander. Because another thing Obama did when he changed strategic focus was that NASA should work more on private spaceflight cooperation. So they should give more contracts to companies like SpaceX and Blue Horizon and stuff like that, which has been rather disastrous, I got to say. But it's all also in the context of the fact that that the International Space Station is getting decommissioned in a couple years. Like I want to say 2025 that they're decommissioning. I gotta stop just like guessing. I'm gonna say like when is the ISS coming down? 2031 is when the ISS is crashing into the Earth. When is the ISS getting retired? All right. 2031, I guess, is when they're 2031 is when they're going to retire and deorbit the International Space Station and basically resign it. So they, that's another part of the thing. Challenger, Apollo 1, Gemini 8, yeah. Any good videos or documentaries with the Columbia disaster? I was in first grade and have no memories of it. Honestly, I don't know. It's such a weird time, to be honest. But it does seem like there's already a, well, there's your problem about the Columbia disaster and the space shuttles. So there you go. I think that I feel like, I mean, obviously I would be open to doing it if they came to me. I should probably come to them and see if I can get them on It's Probably Not Aliens. That might be a good start. There's a lot of podcasts that I would love to be on. I'd also love to be on what's it called? On Inducted or Induction. Like Tom Nicholas's podcast. That one's really good. But I gotta get him on. It's Probably Not Aliens at some point too. So, you know, lots of fun stuff. Lots of every time like that I do a podcast episode and we don't have a guest, I'm like, man, there are so many cool guests that I want to get on the show. One of the ones I'm really gunning for is getting Brennan Lee Mulligan to come on. It's Probably Not Aliens. That's like one of my like dream items. Can you imagine how wild getting Brennan Lee Mulligan on It's Probably Not Aliens would be? I feel like that would be a freaking hilarious episode. I have to do something special for that. Alrighty. Next question I got here is, have I considered joining Threads? Do you think of the failing of Twitter will be enough to make it popular? So, for anyone who doesn't know, Threads is the new app made by Meta, i.e. like Facebook, and it's sort of an offshoot of Instagram. The idea behind Threads is that it's basically Twitter. At the moment, it was definitely rushed to launch because they wanted to get it on the sort of controversy brought up by Elon Musk doing the rate limiting because he refused to pay his bill to Google or to Amazon or whoever he's paying for his server fees. So they released it without many features. Like, it doesn't have DMing. It doesn't have a following feed. It doesn't have like a feed or a thing where you can see everybody that you're following. And so Threads at the moment is like the thing that everyone is getting themselves onto. And my experience with it is that it's fun to post on, but it is a nightmare to actually read. Like, I do not like scrolling Threads at all because, like, you know, 75% of the posts on there are things I do not give a shit about. And it's sort of trying to market itself as being the not news focused, less political, more just like vibe platform. But that is quickly failing. Obviously, that's not a thing that's going to stick around for too long. So we kind of just have have that. And then on top of that, there's also like Jack Dorsey's Blue Sky, which is right now invite only and is full of leftist shit posters. So at the moment, I have all three. If you guys want, if you really want, I'm Tristan PEJ on Threads, and I am stepback.nebula.tv on Blue Sky. And at the moment, like, based on like what I like and don't like about the different platforms, I like reading Blue Sky, and I like posting on Threads and Twitter. So I'm hoping that, like, my heart wants Blue Sky to win because it's a much more, like, it's a platform that is much less terrible to be on. But I also, like, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty obvious that if something is going to replace Twitter, it's going to be Threads. Like, it's just like, it's got the numbers in huge situations. So if Twitter goes down, which I think it will, it's starting to really circle the drain in the last like couple weeks. Then yeah, it's going to, they're getting desperate, and Threads will probably replace it. But yeah, it's tough. How do you get an invite to Blue Sky? If you have a Blue Sky invitation, every 2 weeks you get a Blue Sky invite code that you can give to somebody else to sign up. I got one through, I think somebody on Nebula gave me one a little while back while I was in California. So I got it that way. And I gave away my first invite to my wife, obviously. I'm sure I can't be blamed for that one. But yeah, that's sort of the main thrust of it at the moment. But yeah, I do think that Twitter's time is definitely running up. They're now starting to give money to like the absolute worst people to post on Twitter today. And like, they're not paying their bills. Their server, I think there's like another server contract that they have with Google that's going to expire at the end of this month or next month. That's going to make it even harder. They are like, they need to make like $1.5 billion of profit to even pay off the interest on the loan that Elon Musk took out to buy Twitter. And they can't be even close to that. So it's going to probably tear down, like it could like bankrupt the entire Musk empire, but we'll see what happens. And I think that we'll see. I think that Threads is the one that's, if there is one that's going to come out the other end, it's going to be that one. Might just be good to have a world where we just don't have, like, maybe we just have a world where there isn't a Twitter anymore. There isn't like a sort of short text social media platform where everybody can be on. Ooh, now here's a fun question. If I ever went on Behind the Bastards, who would I want to cover? So there's two ways to think about it, because I feel like if I got somebody that I actually knew and I had a lot of opinions on, that would not make for a good episode of Behind the Bastards, right? Because the thing is, I am not the only person who has called I often get compared to, I'm basically, you know what? I'm trying to see how to frame this right. I am a less good version of Robert Evans. That is like my main shtick, is that I do a lot of what Robert Evans does, but way worse. Because Robert Evans is a fucking savant. I don't know how he does it. The fact that he pumps out as much good content as he does is inhuman. I try to do something similar, but I am unfortunately just a human with ADHD who doesn't have the power to read like 5 books a week to talk about it or whatever. So if I were to go on, I would have to overcome like my want to be the Robert. So really the best option is to get somebody who you don't know about, in which case I think I should just let Robert choose the person, right? Otherwise I would just be like, I would be like, hey, what about this and this and this and this? But if there was like, to get like to the real answer to the question, like, is there somebody on Behind that like I would really like to see a Behind the Bastards about? I don't know if David Icke has been done yet on Behind the Bastards, because there's so many Behind the Bastards episodes now, but I would love a David Icke episode. I would love an episode on forget, oh my goodness, why is his name escaping me? The freaking Hancock. Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock would be another one. Eric Von Daniken, I feel like, would be a really good Behind the Bastards episode. That one, there's a lot of nonsense that I think that Robert would have a lot of fun with. Robert's high on my list of people that I have not yet spoken to, but I really want to at some point. I know we definitely are like one. We're like 1 degree separated from each other. I don't know if but I honestly have zero clue if he has ever heard of me or knows who I am or anything. Couldn't tell you. All right. Steven Crowder and the entire Blaze would be a good subject if it wasn't overdone. Yeah. I actually, like, this is one of those things I've been slowly working on a video about how right-wing propaganda works in the U.S., conservative propaganda circles and everything like that. That is going to be, it's going to be marketed like Step Back's Ben Shapiro video, basically, which I think is amusing. About how, and the provocative way that I'm doing it is going to be talking about, we are way underestimating Ben Shapiro, and we should stop treating him like he is like this comedic figure that we can just poke fun at, because he is an intelligent actor and building a very powerful conservative media network that is eating the left's lunch. Because we don't pay attention to the shit he's doing on Facebook. And so, and then talk about him in the greater scope of like how conservatives are able to weaponize mass amounts of money to change thinking patterns, and basically killed the New Deal coalition back in like the 1960s and 70s. It's my next, it's a video that I'm trying to get to Nebula first. So I'm like working on it sort of here and there, but while I have a few scrap seconds while making my videos. So there already has been an article about how Threads' moderation is effectively non-existent and how LGBT people are being harassed, etc. Yeah, I'm not saying that Threads is good. I'm saying that it's going to be successful. Hopefully that makes sense. Honestly, the best answer is we probably should just have no, there should just not be, like, I feel like a Twitter-like platform maybe shouldn't exist. Maybe that's where we should be, but, you know, that's a minority take, I guess. Maybe, what's it called? Maybe Threads will win, but I'll just chill out on Blue Sky because it's way less shitty. Especially because you can like make block lists on Blue Sky and publish them openly. Like block lists are coded into Blue Sky. And like there's a whole lot of like there's some like AI stuff done to be able to curate your feed with a bunch of stuff. So there's a lot of good things to go with. I was actually just watching the Renegade Cut video on Twitter when the stream started. Ben has his own president tier list where he basically marks FDR down for doing the New Deal. Is that Ben Shapiro? Oh, interesting. All right. If Hollywood collapsed, would that make things better or worse for the general population? I feel like it would be good because like Hollywood does a lot of propaganda for the U.S. military. And furthermore, it channels our like cultural, like around the world channels our cultural imagination into like a handful of subjects. And it's mostly just rehashing the same franchises over and over again. I think that if Hollywood collapsed and like we had to deal with like, you know, whatever sort of areas of movie making replace Hollywood in the U.S. and maybe had more prominence of places like Bollywood or Nollywood or all of those, like, you know, like Nigerian film is taking off right now and Indian cinema is taking off. And like, if that kind of stuff became more normalized and Hollywood didn't have this like singular, like cultural hold over everything, I feel like we would be in a much more interesting place. I think it would be good for like not having a handful of people control all of culture. And furthermore, it would probably result in better movies and television because we'd have different backgrounds and stuff like that. And I would love to see that kind of stuff get more mainstream. An ideal future, do you think the web would be more like Mastodon or NeoCities? Or is that amount of decentralization too hard for folks to adapt to? I think that would be good. Like if the internet had a more federated open source thing, like that fits it. Like if there was going to be like an anarchist internet or an anarchist economy, like Mastodon's model of organization is not too dissimilar from how it would be organized. So it's not a bad take, actually. With what happened to its creator, is there still a point to the concept of validation groups? Validation groups. I don't know what this is talking about, honestly. I feel like a lot of these newer platforms just aren't ready to meet the moment. Maybe. I think that Threads could. Threads is right now a mess because it was hastily thrown together by people who got fired by Elon Musk from Twitter. And they definitely rushed to get it out to capitalize on the rate limiting thing on Twitter. I'm hoping that if Threads is going to do well, it's going to need to actually, take care of its moderation and actually do some stuff when it comes to like improving the actual experience of using Threads. But it's not there yet, but it probably will. Whether or not Threads actually feels good, I don't know. Did you know there's no real U.S. military hardware in Independence Day? Apparently that movie wasn't jingoistic enough for them. That makes sense. Which is weird, because Independence Day is a very pro-Air Force kind of movie, isn't it? Basically, it's like people destroying UFOs with friggin' fighter jets. How is that not jingoistic enough for you? I guess the only military movie that the military would actually use its hardware for is when it's just like a 2-hour commercial. Like, remember that movie Battle LA? Battle LA? That movie was basically just a commercial for the Marines. Will I ever do a fun Discord watch along? I don't even know what you're referring to. Like watching a movie or something like that? Hadn't occurred to me to do, but it's not a bad idea. I don't even know how that would work. Is that a thing people do? What are the best and worst movies on historical subjects? I'm trying to think of like what's like a very fun historical subject that I could talk about, or for a movie. I seem to recall liking Enemy at the Gates as like a World War II movie goes, which was that Jude Law movie about the Battle of Stalingrad. Thought that was cool. That's not a topic that gets talked about a whole lot. Trying to think about like some really good. Wow. Honestly, like Lincoln, even though the fact is like Lincoln was basically just an entire movie that was based around like trying to say, hey, Obama's trying his best, you guys. Lincoln was a genuinely good movie, and I think that it hit like a very interesting aspect of 19th century politics that you don't see a lot in Civil War movies. My favorite Civil War movie is probably Lincoln, which is kind of a wild thing to say. And maybe I have to see it to really give it the full thumbs up, but the plot of Men Who Stare at Goats is a pretty good topic about how the U.S. military can sort of get involved in dumb shit when it wants to. Do you think it's possible to make a video essayist career on just Nebula? The closest I think is Lindsay Ellis, but she was popular before Nebula. At the moment, probably not. Just because, I think that in the future you could, but Nebula, because there's already been success with Nebula exclusives and stuff like that, and those have looked really good. So I don't feel too bad. I don't think it's we're at the point yet where a creator could just make stuff on Nebula. Besides Lindsay Ellis, I think Lindsay Ellis is the only one who has the power for that. But I think it could happen. I think that Lindsay Ellis shows that it obviously is happening in one case, but as somebody's only thing, because Lindsay Ellis is also an author and stuff like that too, right? So it hits a lot of other things. I know because I have copies of her books. I have copies of them. What's it called? I have copies of them somewhere that are signed by her and by Abigail Thorne. She gave them to me actually at VidCon. She gave me she gave me a copy of her two novels, and it's signed by her, which I'm pretty proud of. So there is that. All right, I need to take a very quick washroom break. Unfortunately, I thought I could hold out until the end of the stream, but I'll be real quick, and then we'll enjoy the last 20 minutes of the stream. Haven't read them yet? Yes, I read them over COVID, but I got them from the library, and when I was talking to her about the books, we had a conversation, and I was just like, hey, I know it's a lot to ask, but do you have any copies of the books lying around? I'd love to get signed copies, and I got them, which was really nice of her. BRB. All right, I'm back. On the people who are talking about the books, those right there, those are my signed copies of Axiom's End and Truth of the Divine. Right? Those two right there. In case you're curious about what those books are. So, yeah. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I am back. Oh, people are talking about where they're coming from. Texas, Western Canada, North California. Interesting. So for a lot of you guys, this is the morning. This is your morning thing. Seems like there's a lot of like, it looks like a lot of mountain time, or at least some people, Pacific time, mountain time. Interesting. As someone who is firmly EST or Eastern time, that's interesting. Oh, let's see if we got any more questions while I was away. Nope. Okay. I would normally not be up when the stream started, but I had to be up and got the live notification. Nice. Good stuff. See, I get up, or I have to get up very early in the morning because I have a 18-month-old. So I am up at 6 something every morning. That's always fun. Love that for me. Where are most of my viewers from again? The US. Step Back is like almost 60% American. It's wild. It kind of makes sense. Like, America is obviously the most populous English-speaking country, so, like, tracks. My audience would be primarily from the US. Plus, I talk a lot about like, my audience is 53%, or 54% really, from the US. And then number 2 is the UK, which is at 8.5%. So it's like not even close how overwhelming the US is in my viewership. Which I think is interesting. I do like that I've gotten 585 views on Step Back in the last 4 weeks from New Zealand. I wonder who those people are. Do the stats tell you about what region of the US the viewers are from, or at least what time zones they're in? Unfortunately, no. Just the country. I don't think... Oh, wait, never mind. No, I was wrong on that front. I actually have it right here. So, top. How about we play that? How we play it? We turn this into a game. Who wants to guess what the number 1 state of Step Back viewers is? I'll make it for the entire lifetime of the channel. Entire lifetime of the channel. What state do you think has the most amount of Step Back viewers? Number 1. What's a Step Back dish what's a Star Trek dish you like to try for real? Raktajino, Hasperat. Hasperat sounds really good. It's like a spicy, radishy type thing. That sounds good to me. Socius, you are correct. It is California, which makes sense, right? California represents like 6% of my US viewers. All right. But yeah, California just wins. So number 2, what do you think is number 2? I want to see what kind of guesses we get for number 2. Getting a lot of Washington, like what's it called? Northwest. Great Scott got it. Number 2 is actually Texas. Texas is the winner. And this might be just following population distribution in the states, isn't it? Because number 3, what do you guys think number 3 is? Yeah, New York, exactly. New York is number 3. Number 4. This one's where we'll do the top 5 just for funsies. What do you think is number 4? So we've got California, Texas, and New York as my number 1, 2, and 3. What do you think is number 4? Be very curious if someone gets this. This is in the U.S. This is in the U.S. Clockwork King coming in. Florida. Florida is my number 4, which is weird. I'm just trying to think about how many people are watching in Florida, but that's interesting. Probably, yeah, because of population. So number 5. Who wants to guess what number 5 is? We'll see, and then we'll rest it at that. Washington, Pennsylvania. Interesting. How many people are watching in Texas? I have gotten 194,539 views from Texas. Does Texas and Florida make you resistance radio? Maybe. That sounds like fun. Anti-DeSantis action. Ted Cruz opposition. All right, number 5 is Illinois, which is interesting, which probably because of Chicago, right? Chicagoans. But yeah, I'll knock out the next 5 just because people are curious, and it's Pennsylvania, Washington, Ohio, Georgia, Michigan. So that's the top 10. That's interesting. The least popular, and this is like the same kind of vibe. The states that have watched the least amount of Step Back are North Dakota, Delaware, South Dakota, Alaska, and Vermont. What the shit, Vermont? What is this? Come on, Vermont. Do a Wisconsin/Minnesota accent? Oh, dear gosh. I don't know if I could do something that cruel. I wonder if it's got that for Canada. Be curious. Canada's probably not going to surprise me. Yeah. Canada, it's number 1 is Ontario, number 2 is Quebec, and number 3 is BC. Not a surprise at all. Okay, here is one surprise. Let me see. In the last 4 weeks, they do have Canadian provinces. The last 4 weeks, not a single person from Newfoundland has watched a Step Back video. Newfoundland? What did I do to piss you off? Time travelers discovered dinosaurs were so big because Martians officially lowered Earth's gravity so they could invade the planet. Oh my god. That's a goofy one. Let me see Lifetime. Okay. So in the entire history of Step Back, there has never been a single... No one has ever watched a Step Back video in the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, or Yukon. So all of you people who live in the Arctic need to get on the Step Back train. UK, 65% of UK viewers are English. All right, let's do Lifetime. Yeah, 39% of Step Back viewers in the UK are English. Take that, England. Number 2 is Scotland. And then Wales, and then Northern Ireland, which just sounds like the relative population distribution, doesn't it? How do Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta fare? Interesting question. In the lifetime of the channel, we have had 26,000 views from Alberta, which puts it at 4th place in the country. Manitoba at 5th with 3,000, and Saskatchewan 2,200 at 0.3% of my views. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what other countries they do breakdowns of. Unfortunately, I don't do Australia, which sucks because I have this like dream to one day live in Australia, and I need to know what state I would be best living in. All right, we do have Germany. Let's see what Germany is all about. Let's see. My most popular region in Germany is North Rhine-Westphalia, followed by Berlin, and then Baden-Württemberg, and then Bavaria, Lower Saxony, and Rhineland-Palatinate. I don't know any of these regions of Germany, so I can't really say much to that. India. Ooh, what are my most popular Indian states? Maharashtra. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. All right. We've got some Mexico. Baja California is my most popular state in Mexico. Interesting. I'll bet that's mostly people watching my videos on vacation. Although Mexico City is number 2, but Mexico City is like the largest city in North America or whatever. So, interesting. It's again according to the size of population. Yeah, that's the main part. Curious about France. All of the French Step Back viewers? Let's see how French Step Back does. Audience. Let's see. France. Don't screw me over, France. France isn't broken down by like arrondissements or whatever, which is sad. Greetings from the free Hansa cities. Yeah. Is there a breakdown for Italy? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't look like it. I've only gotten 308 views in the last 4 weeks from Italy. It's wild that people are watching my stuff in so many countries. It's kind of cool. Ugh. Did we talk about Sweden joining NATO yet? I'm guessing yes, but I haven't been able to watch the entire stream. We have not. I imagine Mia will have some more to say about it when we get her back next. But yeah, I guess that is a thing that happened, isn't it? That Sweden is now in NATO. Yay. Such news. Very good. Wow. Poland. There's someone here from Poland. Oh. I want something by my car. Any road, it's not too far. Eden Mountain, Moscow too. It's my life, I tell you to. When I came to Poland, I saw my car was stolen. Something. I don't remember the rest of that song, but it's my Polish content. I think it's actually a German song, but you know. But it's a song called I Love Poland. Oh boy. I thought I wasn't going to make it because of tooth pain or no questions, but we actually got to the end of the stream. Isn't that wild? It's pretty cool. So then, I guess we should like enjoy our last 2 minutes together. What do we do? What do we say? How do we face the next week and come back with a good thing? Funny fact about the French, the European Space Agency agreed to use English as their internal language, but the French will still regularly just send stuff in French anyway. That's a very France move of them, that's for sure. It's especially kind of strange now that the UK is not even in the European Union anymore, that they're still using English for like a lot of their official stuff. Isn't that's odd. I guess at the end of the day, it's still like the most commonly spoken second language in Europe, right? Mostly because of the US's power and influence. That makes sense. Yeah, the French are very insistent on language. That is like a big part of their identity. So that kind of makes sense to me. All right. What other language do all of them have? Yeah. English is sort of an easy lingua franca at the moment, funnily enough. The French still think French is the lingua franca, in no small part because of etymology. Yeah. Well, it very well may be in the future. I think I've talked about this before on stream, but French, there's a lot of French-speaking countries that are like in the next century going to be the countries that are going through huge population booms. So like while most of the world is actually like its fertility rates going down, several countries are having big population explosions coming up in the next few decades, and several of them are French-speaking countries, like Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, Mali, like all West African countries. And a lot of them, French is the language there, and also in Congo, and so it could be that in like the future that French becomes like one of the biggest languages again because of the sort of population explosion in that region. That'd be very interesting. Alrighty, friends. So, on that note, I think it is time that I made my way away because I have to go do dishes. I have to go work on this script that's going to get me fucking crucified by the internet. And, yeah. So, this is the end. This is the end of the stream for this week. I'll be back next week, pending stuff coming up, who knows what. But take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be excellent. And I'll see you guys in the next thing. Bye.